What is happening actually is that you're providing a commoditized services, right? And by that I mean that you are providing Facebook ads or short form content or cold calls or emails, appointment setting, right? And if you're doing it, this is the approach actually which is 5 to 6 years old, right? So this type of approach was working great in 2016 or 17 or up to 2020, right? But nothing has changed. And so these commoditized services are actually not solving the main problem for the client. So you're solving a small portion of the big picture, right? And what's happening is that the thousands of people out there are also providing the same services, right? And so they have the same offer. So the clients you're approaching are already approached by hundreds of people before you providing better offers than you, right? So what's happening is that you have more competition, so you have less revenue because your offer can't sustain the price that you're demanding for, right? And in return, you have low retention because when you don't have revenue, you can't afford superstar talent, right? Which is actually the backbone of retention, which can deliver the services. So if you can't deliver those services, then in turn, it's actually affecting the whole structure and the whole framework of your agency and consultancy, right? So you are stuck actually in this mercenary flywheel effect, but you don't understand what is actually happening. So if you're here, you might be thinking that you're running a business, and the truth is that it's even worse than a job, because I have experienced it personally, right? Because there you have a fixed time, like in the job, which like when you're free and when you have to give time to your family. But here you have no free time. From work to sleep, you're thinking about your client, your team's results, and become more and more controlled by this faceless monster that you call business, right? So in June 2020, I hit my first 10K, and situation, I thought that I'm financially good, but actually I was experiencing the same problem, right? I was coming after the clients, and then I couldn't retain the existing ones, and this was the problem that was actually the chaos that did begin from here, right? And then I realized I have to change things, right? So is this what you have started your business for? Obviously no. You don't want to be slave to your business. That's not the purpose of it, right? Why you're running a business is actually to become free. So let me show you how you can escape it, right? And you need to become a contrarian growth creator where the top 1% are operating, right? And by that I mean that contrary to the a mercenary flywheel, we have a missionary flywheel, in which what we do is that we are bridging the whole gap, right? So you shouldn't be offering a single commoditized services. So this modern approach that we are taking, which the market isn't aware of, right? And there is a huge entry barriers to it. So we are providing we are equipping you with tools, systems, resources, talent, and everything that's required. So you are not in the crowd. You are in the top 1%. Right? So what we do is that we bridge the whole gap, right? From their current and desired states. And what happens is that when you're bridging the whole gap, you're solving the whole problem for your client, then you can charge high, right? And which in turn, you can hire a superstar talent, which can deliver your service, right? You don't have to invest your hours. They will handle everything. And they deliver the service, and your retention experience growth, right? So becoming a contrarian growth creator changed everything for me, and it's going to transform your agency and consultancy by 180 degree, and I promise you that. I didn't focus on becoming good at lead gen and appointment setting or closing, because I was already doing it is a commoditized services, as 90% of the broke people out there. They're just focusing on these single services. So the two things that changed everything for me was understanding the contrarian thesis in leverage, right? And I used both of them on everything. Right, from offers and client acquisition and frameworks, and building fulfillment systems and the scaling frameworks, everything starts to explode. So what we will do is actually we'll provide you all the models and the resources that we have walked through in this challenge, and you will have access to all of this, right? I have a whole 100 pages of the growth thesis. So all the models that we talked about in the program, we will cover everything, and we will cover how successful people, right? Like for instance, take Iman Ghazi, how he was making just 2 million a year, right, when he started in 2019, and he was doing good, right? But then how in the span of just 3 years he hit over 100K, right? And this is the actual magic that happens in attention grabbing, right? So you will understand how actually you own attention and you keep it. All the platforms, social media platform, all these people, they actually keep the attention, and that's the secret, right? So we have all the strategies and everything that for attention generation, and then keeping and then converting, and you have to understand, and that's where the big games are being played, right? You can't just provide single commoditized services and expect to become a millionaire. That's just a dream, right? And people like Andrew Tate or Alex Hormozi, they realized here that actually we have to play the big game, right? And that is actually the foundation of our growth thesis, and you will understand it in the audience generation approach, right? And then we have a lot of different models, like from crowd understanding to actually implementation of the unending content flywheel, and how your hypothesis that you created and the thesis of your own agency. A lot of other models that we have, walking through all of them, right? And you will understand the whole action plan. So what is CGC, right? By becoming a contrarian means you have access to some of the most highly effective and advanced strategies and tools, right? You access to a superstar team and a community of similar agency owners and consultants who can be a source of inspiration for you, right? Means that you will have less decision to make as we handle the hard part for you, right? So what I have done is that I have recorded everything that helped me, and the whole approach that most of my fellow agencies that we helped, they also scaled to over 100K and 70K or 50K, most of the people, to a month. And how, based on the data and the trends, and with this new approach, I recorded everything, right? It's over 7 to 8 hours of challenge that we went from, like I have shared my own case study, how I went from 20K to 100K a month by becoming contrarian, and then the contrarian thesis and paradigm. It's just amazing kind of, like, it's each lesson is 1 hour, and it's going to transform everything, right? So the whole thesis that you apply, and then we went ahead with the contrarian value flywheel. It's the foundation of the growth, and then the 100 and then the 500K offer, right? Building and implementation. And we have studied about the different frameworks of different people, like how the successful people, they utilized the offer and how you can use the same, right? And so we have also covered the 1 million scaling framework with tools and strategies, right? And the 2 million per year fulfillment, client acquisition, and retention framework that we covered each step by step, and you will have access to all of this, right? And then we'll also cover how to level up and change the game at better scale. So consuming content on YouTube for hours doesn't make you smart. It's actually the rate at which you utilize it to achieve your own desired results that makes you a superstar, right? So we have actually an implementation framework, right? So everything that you learn in the Contrarian Growth Challenge needs to be implemented with our system and with the right approach, right? And we help you in that. So creating this community, adding a price to it, will actually force members to focus on implementation and bring results, which will in turn scale their business, right? So my goal is to become a partner with 100 to 200 growth agencies and consultants and scale them past 100K a month using our contrarian frameworks, right? So this challenge is not actually just to provide you with the insights and guide you in the whole approach and make you in the top 1%, but also my goal is to pick the best agencies that are performing well and partner with them and utilize our own client acquisition machinery that we're using in the client flow, and then scale them to over 100K a month, right? So how will it work? Every week we'll drop new insights, right? Like I'm personally doing research and all, developing new insights, and there was a whole game that I spend a lot of thousands on getting those insights, and then action plans and the strategies and workflows in the community to speed up your scaling. So we will share all of them with you guys. And then I also do weekly Q&As on each Sunday, which is in which we talk about the action plans, implementation, and I answer all your questions. And then we have successful offer breakdowns, like successful offers that are currently making over 4 million or 5 million a year. We break it down and then we learn from it, right? So acquisition funnel breakdown and analysis, and then programs and systems, etc. So programs will have a fee, but members of CGC will get a 30 to 40% discount.